it wasn't a positive thing to be strong. Like it wasn't like a good thing to have muscles and be, women were afraid of, being big or bulky looking or, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like
Oh
the
yeah.
tides have shifted, in the last maybe decade where strong is in and it's a good thing. And we know now the benefits of maintaining and building muscle as we get older and how important that is down the road. But nutritionally and workout wise, first important thing for folks to really understand is that resistance training is the main stimulus for both maintaining what you have as well as building.
Welcome back to our Sleeve Life podcast. I am your host, Mel, like always. And today I have a different type of person on. She's an expert in her field. You guys probably know her already. So I want to just bring her on. Kim, the registered dietitian. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me today, Mel. I appreciate it.
Yes, I love your stuff. And I know all these people that know you and they just love you. So I can't wait to
Oh,
learn more about you.
same. Absolutely. I hear the same too. They're like, finally, you're going to talk with Mel. I'm like, yes, finally, I'm going to get to know you good. So I'm looking forward to it.
Right. We're both just busy ladies that have
I
podcasts.
know.
So it's
I
like
know.
when we can
Totally.
finally do a crossover, we're going to do it, guys. So we're going to do it
Absolutely.
right today. So first off, for those that may not know you in my universe, can you kind of explain like who you are and how did you become into the bariatric community?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm a registered dietitian and I specialize in bariatric sports nutrition, which is kind of a, specialty area within bariatric nutrition. And I got into that because I've been a dietitian. I've been a dietitian now for almost 19 years. And I started working in the clinic setting where I worked with pre and post-op bariatric patients. And then I moved into an outpatient, clinic where I did all the, again, pre and post-op where folks have their surgery. And then I work with them, to get them ready, but then also beyond. And during all of that time, I also was a sports dietitian at a Division I university here where I live, Fresno State, because sports nutrition has always been a passion of mine. And what I found was when I was working with my bariatric clients, they often would say, hey, now that I've, gone through this process, I want to start building muscle or I want to train for a half marathon. And that same 8 to 1200 calorie meal plan that, I was handed, upon
Yeah.
discharge isn't taking me as far, and now
No,
what do I
no.
do? Yeah, it's
One,
like, no, now you have new goals. We need to, rethink the nutrition and how do we fuel to optimize those fitness and training goals. So because I had a lot of experience working in sports nutrition and then of course my bariatric nutrition, I decided this is something that needs to be merged, combined.
yeah.
And that way I can help folks to get to that next step in terms of reaching their overall goals. So I opened up my own private practice, Active Bariatric Nutrition, and that's been for the last 3 years. And I've been helping folks to basically use their nutrition to meet their training and fitness goals, whatever those might be.
Oh, I love that for you because we need it. I know lots of people where we get the binder, right? They tell us what we can and can't eat. We go through that first year and then we're like, I'm in this new body. I want some challenges. Because I think what I've learned over the years is like we need little goals.
Yes.
And, you know, doing a 5K is where typically a lot of us start. We're doing the couch
Yeah.
to 5K stuff. We're doing the 10Ks. We're doing like mud runners. Like we're
Yeah.
wondering like how can we do more? And yeah, that calories that they tell us to eat, it's like I feel weak if I'm like
Yeah.
working out like crazy or not even like crazy, like just going for an hour every other day. Like I'm like, why do I feel so tired? Oh,
Exactly.
I'm not eating enough, but I only
Exactly.
know that because of being in the community.
Right.
So thinking about someone that's hearing this for the first time, it's like, guys, like that's really normal. And
Totally.
you're gonna have to eat more. And I know it's a weird concept, but eat more, move more is actually
Yes.
how this works.
Yeah. And I think what's hard about it is that the bariatric nutrition guidelines, tell us obviously limited overall intake because we've had a surgery that, helps us with that, but also low carbohydrate, focus all on protein. And as you increase your movement, your body needs a little bit more carbohydrate to fuel, whatever that activity is. And so they're like opposing guidelines. And so
Yeah.
so where folks come to me is they're like, oh, I've been told no carbs, for life, and I should only eat 60 to 80 grams of protein, but I'm trying to build muscle and I feel tired, just like you're mentioning. And how do I fix that? How do I don't want to necessarily break the rules, but I do because this isn't working for me anymore. So what
Right.
do I do now? You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
that's where it's been fun to help folks bridge those two areas of nutrition and find what works best for them.
So what are you noticing is like the most common thing that we're missing?
Honestly, usually after I would say once we get through that initial post-op phase and we're moving into, 9 months, 12 months and beyond, it's just listening to our body and saying it's okay to add in a snack here or to increase some carbohydrate, at your meals or maybe around the workout. Doesn't mean that you're doubling and tripling and, eating these, larger portions that you may not tolerate well. It just means
Right.
being in that place where you go, okay, I have changed my movement, I have changed my goals, and learning that the fueling then is going to be a little different than when we went through that initial rapid weight loss phase. And how do I just give my body what it needs to do this cool stuff that I'm trying to finish? So I would say it's
Yeah.
probably just that, almost not that permission, but like that, just knowing that it's okay to start maybe gradually increasing a little bit of overall intake and also taking in some more carbohydrate.
Which is hard for us to hear because we're like, we think the word carbs and we're like, we're going to gain all the way back. Don't let
Totally.
me do it. So, how do
Right.
you help clients deal
Yeah.
with that anxiety of
Yeah.
just carbs in general?
Yeah. Well, first off, we start off with, what are your goals? What are you working towards? And then we kind of talk through where they're at right now. So, again, I think what feels scary is thinking that now you're going to have to significantly increase carbs from where you're at. And that feels both scary, but also like, can I do that? Is that good for me? And so, what I do is I start with, okay, what are our goals? What are you trying to achieve? We're going to start with where you're at with your nutrition. We're going to take small steps, one direction or the other, whether that's just adding in a small portion of carbohydrate right before the workout and taking being curious and saying, how does that make me feel? Did it help? Great. That was a helpful addition. Do I need a little bit more carbohydrate and to round out my plate better by adding in some fruits or vegetables or, gosh forbid, a little whole grain, here or there?
Mhm.
How do I do that in a way that feels okay, that's manageable, that are small steps that we can build on and not these big jumps? Because sometimes I'll see
Yes.
folks, are told to, you have to eat 150 to 200 grams of protein or some very large number that just feels impossible. And what I have found to work better is just where are we at right now? Let's make gradual changes, up or down and see how you feel before we make another change. So take it one step at a time.
Time, which I talk about a lot because we are a lot of all or nothing people. That's kind of how we got to this place of like, well, fuck it. You know what? I
Yeah.
already messed up on Friday. We're just going to go all weekend and eat whatever I want, whenever I want. And then that kind of like slowly put on all these pounds. And like, cause I got up to over 300. And yeah, it's like I missed a lot of Mondays
Sure.
because I'm an all or nothing person
Yeah.
instead of just doing the little increments at a time. So, like with
Yeah.
the surgery, like it's like a mind shift. We have to
Yes.
remember we're on this journey for the rest of our lives. This isn't just a year thing, a couple months thing. And that's a big deal because I just having that little mindset change has really opened my eyes to nutrition and being physical and what that actually looks like on a regular day basis. Cause I'm like, I'm not a gym lady. I
Yeah.
never have been. And
Sure.
I like it. Like I once on my ass is there, I'm good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's the whole getting there sometimes is very hard. But again,
Totally.
that's because in my head I'm like, well, if I don't go today, then I guess I'm not going to go all week. And it's like, stop,
Right.
stop what you're
It's okay.
doing. It's
Yep.
okay. So with
Yeah.
the carbs, I've had to learn even to do like, okay, just a little bit here
Yep.
and there. And I started
Yep.
just with potatoes. I
Yeah.
love fries, and so, like, that was my
Yeah.
thing. I was like, "You're not taking away my fries. I'm
No.
not."
Yeah.
And I literally looked it up, and it was, like, 10 calories per fry. So I
Yeah.
had
You're like,
myself 10 fries, and I
yeah, there
felt
you
and
go.
after that, I felt good because I was like, I ate it the fries that I wanted. I didn't overdo it. I don't
Yeah.
feel shitty at all. I'm not, like, talking to myself and being mean to myself. So it's like
Right.
you can actually really put in the carbs that you want as long as you do it very strategically. And
Totally.
so it sounds like you're teaching your clients that.
Yeah, and I was going to go off of that too. Depending upon what their goals are and like the timelines we're working in, I also will tell folks, listen, your nutrition is going to change throughout the year. Just because right now, your goal is maybe a 10K or something. So yeah, we're going to make sure we're taking in adequate carbohydrates because that's the main fuel source for our muscles at moderate to high intensity levels, as well as like an endurance. And when that training session is over, that cycle, we can move back into a different nutrition pattern. So I think too, like you're saying about that all or nothing, knowing that the nutrition can change as well based on what your goals are at that time, And so just because maybe
Ooh.
for a time we might have a little bit more carbohydrates, maybe in a couple months we can cycle into a different pattern of eating that maybe has a
Oh,
little
I
bit
like
less.
that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna repeat that, guys. Our nutrition can change throughout the year. What you start with in January does not mean that's what you have to be still eating in November, December of the
Yeah.
following year. Like that's not
Yeah.
how this works. So I
Yeah.
love it. It's ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows.
Yes. Totally.
So because I love that you're a sports medicine person.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions around that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
because I love sports. I watch sports. I think it's
Yeah.
like incredible what our bodies can do. So I guess my main question is that like if you wanted to be like athletic, because
Hmm.
we aren't athletic, a lot of us aren't athletic people. This is not,
Sure.
our jam.
Sure.
Where do we even start?
Yeah.
Like, is it food first? Is it working out first? Like, where do we begin? Because
Yeah.
it feels overwhelming.
Yeah.
So,
Honestly, I would just say, I mean, what area do you want to focus on and what is your goal at that moment? Are you wanting to just focus on nutrition right now and see where we can make some changes and, is I'm going to hey, I'd like to start, with some walking or I want to, do a couch to 5K or I just want to get back in the gym a little bit and start working on some strength. Of course you can do one or the other this, at one time. You could start together. It's really just again meeting you where you are with your comfort level and building those small habits that we can keep building on and get some momentum. So I always just tell,
yeah.
find one thing you want to focus on this week, this day. Let's just get
Okay.
that achieved first before we do 800 things. I don't want you to like, go from, maybe you haven't been lifting to 5 days of lifting and I'm going to cut my calories. And I mean, all those things, it's too much. It's just too
It's
much.
a
Right.
lot.
And so
Yeah.
it's, yeah, not realistic. So I would just get started with something basic. Maybe that's I'm going to start increasing my walking, or I'm going to find somewhere that I would like to try, whether that's a gym or I get some things from a video. I go on, get an app and follow and do it at home, do some movement. And then, if you feel good about your nutrition, we can either just say, okay, my nutrition's good right here. Awesome. Or is there one thing I can focus on? Can I focus on being a little more consistent with my eating? Like, meaning I'm going to eat my 3 meals in a day and not skip. Maybe that's just the
There
first
you
thing you
go.
want to work on.
Yeah.
Because I find that a lot, especially after bariatric surgery or even on GLP-1s, sometimes our appetite being suppressed, we're just busy, life
Mhm.
happens. It's 2 o'clock. I haven't had anything to eat today. Maybe just getting back to, can I eat on a more consistent pattern? How does that make me feel? And just focus on that for now.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's so fair and honest about like, let's
Yeah,
just figure out where you're at.
exactly.
What is it like to build muscle? Like, what do we need to
Yeah.
do to build that muscle? Because I know us as women, and I would hope
Yes.
that you could talk a little bit more to this. I just know it's very important for women for us to have muscle, build muscle. I know our bones get brittle. It's
Yeah.
literally after what, 35, I think is what they're saying, is like we really
Starts
need
to
to up our
decrease.
calcium. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the bone building years really start, we start to see losses basically after our 30s, and each
Okay.
decade thereafter. But, in terms of muscle, it's so important for women, especially for men too, but for women especially, because I think, we kind of have been an age where it wasn't, it wasn't a positive thing to be strong. Like it wasn't like a good thing to have muscles and be, women were afraid of, being big or bulky looking or, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like
Oh,
the
yeah.
tides have shifted, in the last maybe decade where strong is in and it's a good thing. And we know now the benefits of maintaining and building muscle as we get older and how important that is down the road. But nutritionally and workout wise, first important thing for folks to really understand is that resistance training is the main stimulus for both maintaining what you have as well as building. That's
Okay.
If you are looking to level up your weight loss journey like I am, let's talk about ProCare's new metabolic G3A. It's a GLP-1 companion plus your blood sugar support. This game-changing supplement is designed to support your metabolic health and your blood sugar levels, making it a perfect companion for those on a GLP-1 medication, which your girl is. Check out the Metabolic G3A at procarenow.com and use code OSLP for 15% off your order. I have a great protein company for you that is both delicious and effective. That is Devotion Nutrition. With their amazing proteins, you will find mouth-watering flavors and high-quality ingredients that support your goals. You can bake with this, you can make your post-workout shake, and prepare a protein-packed snack. Devotion really does have you covered, so go over to devotion.com and use code OSLP5 at checkout to get 5% off your order. Fuel your body with the best Devotion nutrition ingredients today. Craving a sweet treat that fits your goals? Try Built Bar. With their protein-packed bar in a variety of delicious flavors, you can satisfy your cravings while staying on track. I'm all about Team Puff. Those fluffy melt in your mouth puffs are a game changer. Head over to built.com and use code OSLP at checkout and get 10% off your whole order. Treat yourself to something tasty and guilt-free with Built Bar.
Critical. Just lifting will increase your body's ability to build muscle for 24 hours up after that. So if we're able to pair good nutrition with that at the same time, we're really optimizing that, that window. So of course the resistance training and just being consistent with that. And that might just mean 2 times a week, starting low and see how that feels before you go to 3 times or even 4. But I always just tell folks, let's again, start with where we are. We can build up if we feel it's necessary. And then when we look at the nutrition, it is again about fueling our body and giving it that energy so we can build the muscle. So when we lift, we're having those little small microfiber tears. And when we then put in the adequate protein intake and adequate calories, we're now able to recover and build and gain some muscle. And for ladies listening, it takes a lot. We don't have the levels of testosterone as men do. So I promise you, you're not going to get bulky. The best thing that you could do if you're wanting to change body composition and, look leaner or whatever that is for you, that is what you're aiming for, I promise you the resistance training is going to get you there, and then looking at your nutrition is important.
Can you explain what is resistance training?
Yeah. So that's just basically pulling a load. So you're basically putting stress on your muscles, whether that's, upper body or lower body, whether that's pushing, pulling. It's basically what we're trying to do is over time, there's a concept called progressive overload. And that just means over time, we're challenging our muscles to do a little bit more. And that can come in the form of doing more weight. It can come in the form of doing more reps or sets. It can come in the way of changing the duration of your rest in between your lifting sets and things. So there's different ways to achieve progressive overload. It's not just about going up in weight every time. And so that is what's going to help you to keep seeing change over time, is to keep challenging yourself.
Now, I've heard of this where it's the push and pull. So I've heard and tell me if I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I have been told by trainers that you should have a pull day and then a push day.
Yeah.
Is that accurate or not? Does it matter if I mix it? Because I mix it all the time.
I do too.
I like rowing and then I like doing pull downs. So I'm just I'm doing different shit. So does it matter?
Totally.
Does it not matter?
What I would say is, when you're starting for folks, because sometimes for folks that are just starting at 2 days a week, they're going to do 2 full body workouts. So that's going to incorporate, all your muscle groups and, meaning upper and lower body. And they may incorporate both pushing and pulling, right? So it's okay. Ultimately, when folks do a pull day and a push day, it's because maybe they're doing 3 to 4 workouts in a week. So they're doing push or pull and then 1 full body day. Some people might do more of a core day. It's really up to you. There is no perfect right or wrong way. The most important thing is that you're in there consistently and you're challenging yourself over time. So whether that's sorted out in a push day and a pull day, or it's sorted out in full body, you're still benefiting. So that's what I want to really say out there for folks. The rules, things that we've seen on social media, please, a lot of it is hype and buy my program, or do it my way because it's the best way. Please know that the best way is your way. that you're going to be able to stick to. That's the best way.
Oh, I like that. It is so true because I've had so many dudes and I'm sorry, they all have been guys this time.
Sure.
That have always told me like, Melanie, you shouldn't be doing the push and pulls in the same day. Like
Yeah.
maybe, and I like full body workouts.
Sure.
That's actually how I've done almost all of my weight loss, besides obviously with the VSG and GLP-1 with it. But like,
Sure.
that's how I've done it, is just, I like full body workouts. I don't like having to isolate and then only work on this. I'm just like, why? It feels to me like it's not like a wasted time, but it's like, I feel like I don't have a lot of time. So it's
Right.
like whatever I can do to get the most benefit from my time, I'm going to do. And I feel
100%.
like that's, for me at least, that's a full body workout.
Totally.
Because then I can feel it the next day through my body. And then I'm like, yeah, I did that, like
100%.
so excited. Yeah.
And you're targeting a wide variety of muscle groups. The way that you challenge them, whether it's push or pull, again, is not as important as just being consistent with getting to the gym, and whatever many a days that is for you. And it's working for you. So again, it just goes to show that these rules that are out there and how many sets and how many reps we need to do. Now, if you're farther down or more experienced and you're really trying to make some finite changes, to see some small increases here or there, then maybe strategizing with certain types of workouts may benefit. But for the general population that's either just getting started or is just more of a recreational, like, hey, I just want to maintain what I have and get a little stronger, find the pattern that works best for you and that feels good to you.
Nice. I love that, because it is, growing up in the 90s and into the 2000s, we get told all these different things, and it's so like confusing. And even to this day, where like I'm in the field and I've been told so many different things still, and it's kind of like, it kind of makes me giggle a little bit. And then I'm like, no wonder why everyone's confused, because it is a lot of the internet's fault. And I like the fact that you talked about how women are like so nervous about getting bulky. I actually did a post, I think a month ago, and I was like, ladies, it's not gonna happen. You have to work so fucking hard for you to look bulky. Like, let's
100%.
just work on getting into the gym or doing your home exercise or whatever it is, because like
100%.
you're not going to get bulky overnight. It's just,
No.
it's infeasible. But I think they put that in our heads a lot in the early 2000s of like, they wanted us fragile women. They want the men to be super strong. They didn't want us to be strong. And then they were like, well, if you work out, then you're going to get too bulky for me. And it's like,
right.
No, I'm just going to actually be able to lift shit, hey, when we're moving and we're doing stuff together, I'm going to be able to help you instead of just by yourself,
And now I feel like we're like, and you know what? Now I'm going to just do what the fuck I want to do for my own body. Thank you so much. And I don't need, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a woman, it's like, I'm going to be strong and I want to be strong. Take it or leave it. If you don't like it, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing this for me and my overall health. And I feel like we're finally to that place, in our society, so to speak, that, again, that strength and being strong and having muscle as a woman is great. It's a wonderful thing. And it's only going to help us as we go through perimenopause and menopause and beyond that, so that we aren't, these fragile women that fall and break a hip because we don't have any musculature to help us with our balance. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel like I want to just be like, please don't listen to that and just be in the gym. It's so helpful. It's going to be so helpful for you long term.
Oh, 100%. Because so my mom works in a hospice. She's a hospice nurse. And so she gets to see kind of like, the end of life a lot.
Sure.
But it's a reminder though of like, what do you want to be like when you get older? Like, do we want to be fragile? Do we want to have the hunchback? Do we want to not be able to walk around? Like, I want to be in my 70s and 80s still walking around and not being like, who's going to be able to like catch me if I fall, like
totally.
And you hear it all the time of these people that fall and then now they're out of commission for so long when they're in their 60s and 70s. And it's like, I don't want to be that person, and we don't have to be anymore. Like, the knowledge is here, the information is here. So let's
Yeah.
use it to our benefit. So,
And it helps to optimize the tool of bariatric surgery or GLP-1s or both is gaining muscle and fueling properly to maintain that. That's what's helping the tools work even better, right? So
yep,
when we're gaining muscle, it helps us with having a higher just resting metabolic rate, meaning how many calories we're burning just sitting down, at rest. And so having more muscle is so positive for you, and it's going to help you with longer, better weight maintenance, with achieving whatever those body composition goals that you're working towards. So I mean, there's so many benefits to it. It helps with having more muscle helps with better blood sugar response in general. So lots of good things, from
well, and it helps
benefiting.
with mental health too. Like working
Totally.
out, you get all those dopamine hits and
So
serotonin,
true.
and like the runner's high is real. And you don't actually have to be a runner to get that. You just have
So
to work
true.
out,
Yeah.
like
Yep. Just
100%.
movement.
Have you seen anything like different for the GLP-1 patients? Like, is there really a difference of what's going on with us or no?
Yeah. So, initially, I would say, because we're finding more and more now with the updated research that, you don't necessarily lose muscle mass just because you're on a GLP-1. In general, when we're in a caloric deficit, whether that's from bariatric surgery, a GLP-1, or just, diets in general, you can lose muscle if you're not resistance training or doing lifting and or not taking an adequate, energy or protein intake. So we are now finding that folks that are on GLP-1 can still maintain and gain muscle, even on a GLP-1, as long as they're still doing that lifting and still focusing on their nutrition. So I would just say that no, there's not significant difference for someone that's on a GLP-1 versus like a just bariatric surgery, because again, in general, when we look at the environment that you're in, it's in a reduced overall intake. So we just have to make sure we're targeting, adequate protein, multiple, times per day, fueling throughout the day ideally, because again, we can't take in as much volume at one time as
Right.
compared to someone that hasn't, had surgery or using a GLP-1. So it does take a little bit more mindfulness about, hey, I got to be mindful about sitting down, having, trying to get in 3 meals a day, or, whatever that pattern is for you. So I would say it's pretty similar. I just want to dispel, though, that myth out there that you're going to just lose muscle if you're on a GLP-1. That is not true. As long as you are incorporating strength training and you're eating adequate overall calories and protein. And I would say focus mostly on that protein.
Yeah. And I've seen it where, how do I put this? So because I'm on a GLP-1, and so
Yeah,
I'm in the GLP-1 world, and I watch it,
sure.
and I see the people, and we have
Yeah,
the people that are, working out or doing something, whether that's
sure.
walking, going upstairs, whatever.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
I do see people that are doing nothing.
right.
And I feel for them because they're upping their dose all the time, making it like being like, and then they're saying, the dose doesn't work. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. And it's like,
Right.
in my head, I don't want to be rude, but it's almost like it's you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, because
Yeah,
you
there's
have to
other
you have
things you
to
have to
work
do.
it. Yeah, like you have
Yeah.
to work your tool. It's just like the sleeve, the R and Y, the duodenal switch. You have to work it. Like there
Yes.
is no, even though this is yes an injection, and I think Dr. Spencer Nadowski said like in the next 10 years we'll probably have a pill for
Yes.
people to take. And
Yes.
it's like, yes, we always said they're never going to magic pill. It's still not a magic pill.
No, it's
Like
not.
it can still, you still have to work whatever you're doing. It's never going to be an actual button where you push and now everything's fine. And I think
100%.
people have that in their heads like, well, I don't have time for this. And it's like, no, you do. You
Yeah,
actually do. I know
you
from a
do.
busy schedule, like if you want to do something, you find the time. You either get up earlier, you stay up later, you change your routine through the week so you can
Yeah,
intermit like just a day or two of going to
totally.
work out. Because that's all it needs for a GLP-1,
Really,
guys. You don't
really,
need
truly.
to be in there 5 days, 7 days a week. I think
Yeah.
2 to 3 days at the most, and you're good.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
I've
I
had
mean,
I was going to say Dr. Nadolski will tell you that as well. I mean, he's really a big supporter. Obviously, besides the GLP-1, science and research, he's a big supporter of that importance of using the other tools of like lifting, moving your body, whatever form that is for you. And if it's 1 or 2 times a week when you get started, and that's where you stay, great, better than 0 days, right? So
yeah,
whatever you can do, it doesn't have to be 2 hours in the gym. It can be a 30-minute workout. It can be from home on your watching a video on your phone that you're doing the workouts. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be as sophisticated and overwhelming and that I think we all make it out to be, or
yes.
seem. And so I couldn't agree more with you though, that you can't just take the GLP-1 and do nothing else.
No.
That's not going to yield the results that you want.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not, guys. We're just not at that tech for that to work, and I don't think we ever will be. We
No.
are a bag, and I always say this because it sounds gross, but like we're a bag of chemicals, and legit, we're just trying to level out all these fucking chemicals.
Since I started my weight loss journey, I have been more positive and more intent with what I'm doing with my life. And that includes what I'm wearing. I found this new company called Find the Good Brand. Their collection of motivational apparel and accessory is designed to help you stay focused on the positive while making a bold statement. From inspiring shirts to empowering hats, you got it covered. Visit findthegoodbrand.com and use code MELUNFILTER at checkout to get 10% off your order. Start spreading those good vibes today with Find the Good Brand. I'm taking my wellness to the next level with First Form because they have premium supplements to support all your health and fitness goals. Whether you're building lean muscle, boosting recovery, or improving overall health, they got you covered. Try their level 1 sustain release protein or their Formula 1 for quick recovery. Check out their full lineup at firstform.com/melunfiltered and take your wellness journey further today. I have a delicious and nutritious way to boost your protein intake. Try American Dream Nut Butter, packed with high quality protein and healthy fats. It's the perfect snack to fuel your weight loss journey. Whether you're adding it to your favorite meal or enjoying it straight out of the jar, like your girl does, American Dream Nut Butter is a tasty way to stay on track. Visit AmericanDreamNutButter.com and use code OSLP and get 10% off your order. Treat yourself to a healthier snack today.
And making things work better than the other. So
Yeah, I love that. No, I agree. It is. It's all, I mean, because when we talk about the disease of obesity, we know that it's multifactorial in both, its origin and why it continues. But we also know then that the tools are required are also multifactorial. So we can't just have the surgery. We can't just have the GLP-1. We have to also, focus on mental health, like you pointed out, and look at the nutrition and the movement and sleep and all these things that, and it's not like you have to be perfect at all of them. It's just being mindful of how does this work in my life? How can I try to prioritize things better and make them work together, for the long term, whatever that means for you.
And you did mention sleep, and I love that you said it, and I know it's just real quick, but like, can you explain to people why is sleep so important to your body, your muscles, your mental health, the whole thing? Because I think sleep is a big one that gets missed all of the time. And people actually they pride themselves. I only got 4 hours of sleep last night. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And then they'll be
oh
like,
my gosh, I know.
And then they get like, how much did you have? And I'm like, I don't want to tell you because I'm like, it's 7 to 8 almost every day. And they're like, how do you do that? And I was like, well, I don't have little kids. Like I make my own schedule. Like I put myself in a position to where I can sleep more. So, and some people I know go to bed early just so they can get that sleep because it is important.
Totally.
So yeah, I would like your professional opinion about sleep on our bodies.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And there's just so much great research out there to show that how important sleep is for our bodies. So not only if you have a goal of you're trying to gain muscle or change your body composition, whatever that is for you, sleep is where our muscles are repairing and growing and where we secrete hormones that help with specifically muscle building is happening when we're sleeping. So that old badge of I only got 4 hours of sleep. Well, you missed out on an additional, 3 to 4 more hours of time where your body had to repair and get our brain ready for the next day and to recover and grow muscle. So it's so important for weight maintenance, for muscle, for all the things that folks are generally speaking looking to target. It is really critical. So we can't ignore it. We can't put it as like the last thing that we focus on. It should be one of the top things. And so it just really helps us. I mean, because again, research has suggested that when we don't sleep well, our appetite increases the following day and our cravings for carbohydrates and fats are even increased after a night of a sleep deficit. So, I mean,
Oh,
those are things
shit.
that now we're just fighting our own body, right? Now it's our body's telling us to do, more of trying to take in more food when we're trying to, be in a calorie maintenance or whatever it might be. We're actually now making it harder for ourselves. It's already
Mhm.
challenging enough. Why add that into the mix? So it is so important. I can't emphasize it enough. Please make it a priority.
Have you seen clients actually be able to like gain more muscle and get more better, like,
A
just every
hundred
like
percent.
cognitive better by
A
just
hundred
changing that?
percent.
Yeah.
Just changing sleep allows them then to feel better so that when they do go and work out, they're getting more out of the workout so that they're seeing more results. They're doing more reps or they have more energy in it so they can go longer, harder. So again, that's going to yield results. And so, yes, I have had people that were in a plateau and just focused on sleep and they saw some, decrease overall weight or body fat losses because they recovered better. And
Yeah.
so again, I can't emphasize it enough. So important in this journey for sure.
It is. It is. And I'm a lot of the mental health side where I'm just like, guys, like what I have learned so much about sleep is that it really just does that healing. And it kind of like
Totally.
this is how I've taken it is that it reorganizes everything. So
Totally.
it's basically you take the day, think of it as like a blank slate, right? And you put all the things that you did in the day there. And then it's like crazy. Like now my blank slate's like colored and there's different shapes and sizes. It's had things that are happening. And then when you go to sleep, it's like trying to reorganize all of that and put it
Totally.
in the memory banks and then all the healing processes. So it's like you want to wake up with a blank slate. You don't want to wake up with a bunch of scribbles still going on. And
Totally.
that's really what it's like. Cause I know you're totally right of like, if I get 4 hours, 5 hours, I want sugar. I want salty.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
want carbs. Like,
Yep.
and that you're right. It's like, why are we doing stuff to make it even harder for ourselves for the
I
next
know.
day?
It's
Yeah.
yeah. I actually had on a sleep expert on my podcast a while back now, and she just talked about just specifically for folks that have had surgery and that are trying to change their body composition. And she is an expert. She literally studies sleep and the brain and how it impacts, REM sleep in our recovery. And she said, I
I
literally,
want
this
to.
is one of the, yeah. She's excellent. I'll give you her information, Dr. Melissa
Yeah.
Milanic. She's awesome. But she speaks specifically about how important it is for the different hormones that we're secreting while we're sleeping. And again, for recovery so that we can actually heal the muscle tissue that we just challenged and grow. So again, for folks that are, aiming for weight maintenance and are aiming for different body composition, sleep is important. Yeah, please prioritize it, whatever that might mean for you.
I love it. Yes. And I will have that lady on. I've been looking for a sleep expert for over a year now.
Yes. She's
So
great.
I would love
She's
it.
awesome. Yeah.
So when it comes to muscle itself,
Mhm.
is there any foods that are really beneficial to help with muscle building? Just that
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. I wish there was specific foods I could point out to outside of when we're looking at the nutrition aspect, because again, we've already talked about the importance of that stimulus of the resistance training. But when we look at the nutrition side, in order to build muscle, it takes energy. So that means overall energy coming from carbs or proteins or fats. So all of our food groups
Okay.
are important. Protein is very important in stimulating the process of muscle protein synthesis, which is that those building blocks of your muscle mass. And so we do want to make sure we prioritize our overall protein. And at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter the timing as much as meeting your overall daily goal for protein. So meaning,
Okay.
if my goal for the day is 100 grams, it's not as important of what the timing is of the 100 grams. It's just the most important is, did I get in my 100 grams? And then for someone that's had surgery or on a GLP-1 where our overall volume is, somewhat has a ceiling because we've had those surgery or that tool we're using that tells us we're full, that's where the strategy of timing and pairing it with foods that have fiber and adequate, fats and carbohydrates so that we're getting in all the vitamins and minerals also that we need for the reactions that help with muscle building. So I can't say that there's one particular foods, but certainly both animal-based and plant-based. You can be vegetarian and vegan and very muscular as long as you're hitting your overall total daily goal for protein. And of course, just having adequate energy intake to build muscle is important.
So you've actually been able to, have you helped people that are vegan and vegetarian?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I have a vegan female athlete who does the Ironman.
Oh,
So, I
shit.
mean, yes. Yeah. I mean, talk about increased demand after bariatric surgery, and you are on a somewhat, specialized diet where we have to make sure we're getting in a wide variety. Because the thing about plant-based proteins is that they don't always all have all the essential amino acids that our body needs to do all the things we do. And
Right.
essential amino acids are the protein that our body doesn't make, and we have to eat it. And animal-based sources will have all nine. Plant-based sources generally won't, and you have to
No,
make sure you're getting just a wide variety of different plant sources. So then when you layer that onto someone that's had bariatric surgery who can't eat a large volume at one time, let me tell you, it takes some strategy and,
yeah.
making sure that we're eating a wide variety of things. But it can happen. It can happen. But to summarize and answer your question, more important is just what's our overall goal for protein for the day? How am I meeting that consistently, that as compared to just specialized to certain foods?
And I would say, guys, like, just get the protein in however you can.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. Yeah.
you know your schedule better than anybody else. Look at
Yes.
it, figure out the little time frames where you're going to eat, and just
Yep.
have the protein shake or
Yep.
have I have yogurt basically every day. Like,
Yep.
find little ways I can just bump it up. Like, and I know cottage
100%.
cheese is like the hugest thing right now. You can blend it, you can put it in anything. And I didn't
Yep.
realize how insane protein was in cottage cheese. I was like,
Oh my gosh.
wait a
It's
minute,
a great
a
source.
cup is like 12, 13 grams. I'm like,
Even more. It's even
I think
more.
it's
It's like
more.
20. Yeah. It's like 23,
Yeah.
24, maybe even up to 28, depending upon the brand. Yeah, absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
great source.
That's like more, sometimes that's like almost half of what people are like needing to get at least. Like,
No, it's
pretty
great.
freaking wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're going through, say, like someone comes to you, like what
Sure.
does that look like? Like, what is,
Yeah.
do they fill out a form? Do they have a free
Yeah.
consultation? Like, what is that for you?
Yeah. So how I have my program set up is I work both one-on-one with clients, individually, and I also have my group program. So right now I have a program called Bariatric Strong, which is a 6-week online group program where we go through, different lessons on how to optimize our nutrition specifically for the goal of gaining muscle. But when someone comes to me and they want to work with me one-on-one, yeah, I have some intake forms that I'll have them, fill out before we start, because that's giving me information as to where are they at right now. Because as I mentioned earlier, again, when we're starting and we're trying to prioritize and make some new habits, where are we at now? Where do we need to go? And then
Right.
how do we strategize with, getting there? So I will have them, fill that out. I'll have them just they don't have to like calculate out every single thing they're eating, but I'll say, okay, just write down what you eat for a couple days for me, just so I can see where are some opportunities. Because I think a lot of times folks think like, oh, I'm going to work with somebody and they're just going to immediately tell me all the things I have to cut out. And it's like, no, we're going to round that out and make it better so that you feel better. And is there places where we can, take in more, add things here, whatever. I'm more of the, I think it's better to look at how can we add to rather than what are we taking out,
Right.
So when I work with folks, I do everything. It's virtual, all online sessions. And I have both 3-month and 5-month packages where they can work with me. But it's really depends on what their goals are. So I have folks that are, earlier out that are just, hey, I got discharged from my program and now I feel like I don't know what to do with my nutrition, and I'm starting to go to the gym more. What do I need to do? I have folks that are farther out. I have people that are more experienced with, whether it's lifting or they're running a marathon or an Ironman. And so I've got folks all over the gamut. I don't just, I think when folks look at my stuff, they think, oh, I have to be an athlete. And that's totally not true. I work with people all over. It just depends on, do you have some goals for, I'm trying to change body comp. I'm trying to train for an endurance event. What do I need to do with my nutrition that's different from the bariatric nutrition guidelines? And I help folks merge that.
Oh, I love that because it's huge. It's a big deal to try to figure out because we're all so different. And I
Totally.
like that you have the group, you have the one-on-ones, and then they can really talk to you and get in there and figure out like what their needs are. So where do they go to do that for you?
Yeah. So I have a website, activebariatricnutrition.com. You can check out my services there. You can always message me on my Instagram. I have a Facebook group as well. So I have different areas. But one other thing I'll say too is I get a lot of people asking about like supplements. And that is something we totally talk about because oftentimes folks are being, sold a huge bag of supplements that they don't necessarily need. Right. And so we really talk about what do you actually need right now for this goal that you're working towards. And, we kind of hone in on those things. But any of those
nice.
places online are spots where they can reach me. Yeah.
Very, very cool. So what kind of supplements do you help with?
Yeah, I mean, so besides making sure, number one, that we're taking our daily bariatric vitamins and minerals, right? Because as you know, there is no finish line for those, right? We're taking those
No.
every day for life. Just like you said, this is a lifelong journey. And when you change that mindset, that comes then too with realizing that the vitamins never stop. They are required. And I don't know if you've ever heard this, Mel, please tell me. I'll never forget this when I worked in the hospital. I had a doctor tell me, they're like, why do you keep telling this patient to take this multivitamin and like D? Their labs are normal. I said, their labs are normal because they take the supplements.
Yeah.
Not because they've reached some magical point and they're just going to stay normal. Your body has been permanently changed. It doesn't digest and absorb the same way. You're not taking in the same volume as you were before. And these are required to help round out that nutrition so that you don't develop deficiencies,
Right.
So
right.
we go over that. And then, of course, we go over what are called ergogenic aids, meaning things that are going to optimize performance or movement or body composition. So we might look at things like creatine. Is that necessary? Protein supplements, you mentioned that. I'm a big fan of it. I know that there's maybe programs out there that don't want folks doing it, but guess what? We have to figure out what works. And sometimes a protein shake is necessary to help boost our protein intake so we can meet our goals. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's protein, it's amino acids, whether it's coming in the form of a shake or whether it's coming in the form of whole food. There's, of course, benefits to eating the whole foods and adding fiber and things. I'm not saying that we should replace all of our food with shakes, but they have a place and they can be helpful.
They do. Well, especially with the world that we live in, we are in a fast-paced environment almost at all times. And I do protein smoothies. So I don't do the proffies because I don't like coffee. I wish I did. That would be a whole nother market for myself, but I just hate coffee.
Yeah.
I will be 100 about it. So I basically, what I do is I take the is it OKIS? Okies?
Oikos. Yeah, Oikos.
Oh yeah. So I use their yogurt, the protein yogurt. That's vanilla. I do the serving size for that. Then I do some Fairlife milk. I throw in a scoop of Devotion Nutrition, which OSLP5 guys, get your Devotion. I pop that on in there, and then I actually throw frozen strawberries and bananas, and then I just spin it. And then that's what I eat. That's what I drink. And I used to actually, before Devotion, it was kind of funny. Like the first 2 years of my whole journey, that's what I did. Like I even would go to work and I would blend it there. Like they were so nice when I got my surgery at the Department of Revenue. That's where I worked at the time for that part. And they were like, yeah, we have, go and put it in the break room. Like, well, you can have your blender there. Like, if you're comfortable with leaving it overnight, you can put it in your office, whatever. And so I did that for the first year there. And then I switched jobs to Progressive Insurance. And then same thing. They were so chill about it. And they were like,
awesome.
It's kind of funny, guys. You should do this because when you show other people what you're doing, it starts opening up questions and curiosity. Yes. Right? Because when I moved over to Progressive, I'll be honest, I didn't tell them I had surgery. I was very nervous. I came from Department of Revenue and then my old job at Wells Fargo. It was very women centric. I had women bosses. But when going over to Progressive, I was the minority. It was me and 3 other women. So it was very male dominant. I've never been in a situation like that, and all educated. Progressives, they won't let you in unless you have some sort of degree. So they have a certain level. And so I was so intimidated that I was I'm not telling these people. This is not going to do it.
Your business.
But I was hey guys, is there a place I can make my smoothies? And they were ooh, what are you going to make? They were all curious. And I told them what I was doing. They're oh, that's really cool. I never thought about bringing it in.
Sure.
And so now at that time, people started bringing their healthy foods into the office. They started making their own, they were making their own proffies. It was kind of interesting by me just being okay with at least bringing it in. Right. It opened that gate for other people. And then eventually after a year, I told them I had surgery, and they were not mean. I thought they were going to be cause they were a bunch of jocks too. I literally, some of them had played on the Ducks, and I'm in Oregon and I'm a Duck fan. So I was oh my God, he was a wide receiver. oh my God,
Yeah.
he was a defensive end. Oh,
Yeah.
like this is like crazy to me. And I thought they were going to
Sure.
judge me. But what I've learned about sports is those people don't judge you. Those people are like, what are you doing? How did you do it?
Yeah.
How can I
Yeah.
help? Is there anything you
Yeah.
need from me? And I was like, oh, this is like night and day for what I expected. I had all these assumptions and all these pre notions about these people, and I was completely wrong. Completely wrong. And
Oh.
what I've learned, even through my years of, I went to the Radical Body Transformation in June
Yeah.
in Toronto, and now I'm going to do it myself this next June.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
and it's because of how cool these people are. Like when
Yeah.
you're around people that are wanting to help themselves and health wise and
Yeah.
others, it's a different ballgame, guys. I feel like you can do almost anything because
Yeah.
you have that community behind you.
Yeah.
And they are very kind and very nice. And don't
Yeah.
ever, just because they have muscles, does
Yeah.
not mean they're going to judge you, because they had to work hard to get those muscles, right? So
100%.
no one was born with muscles like that. Like
Yes.
you actually have to
No.
put in the work, put in the time. And I have not been judged by any of those people, at least to my
I love
face.
that.
And I love that. And it's made me feel comfortable in the gym. It's made me feel comfortable where I'm going to get on stage this next year. And so it's just like, guys, do what you have to do, whether you're at work or at home, just and talk about it. Like,
Yep.
I think us not talking about it brings in all those fears.
Sure.
And like for me, I made these assumptions about people that weren't accurate by any means. So
Yeah. Totally.
I would just say, guys, talk to each other. It is
Yeah.
okay.
I was going to say too, I know oftentimes I've heard and I've felt this way too, intimidated when you go to a new gym or, like I started working out this one gym that was like a lot of bodybuilders and things. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was intimidated too. And I thought, geez, I'm over here doing my small weights. They're loading up the plates, and you know what? A similar thing. I asked one time, I was like, can you spot me? And this guy was like, I thought you never asked. Great. Good for you. Like,
Ah,
and was so kind and just like, and after that, it was like, it broke the ice and it was like, hey, what are you doing? Because everyone's there to just get better, right?
yep.
We're all really not looking at anyone else. Everyone's there to just, tunnel vision, like what's my workout today? I got my headphones on. I'm not even talking to anybody else. And then when you ask for help or you say, hey, how are you doing this or whatever, I have found it to be very open and welcoming as well, honestly. These
Yeah.
guys were like, oh, great. I love what you're doing with your upper body. You should add this. And I was like, oh, great idea. And so it was such a great interaction. And now I talk to them all the time. But I agree with you. It can be intimidating. And when you're kind of just so afraid of that judgment or what you have that preconceived notion of how they might respond or what they might be thinking, they're probably not. And then turns out they weren't,
They
so
weren't.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. And I know that it's hard and it is intimidating, but guys, it's
Yes.
totally worth it. You get to open yourself up to new people, new strategies, new knowledge, cuz people want to just walk into a gym and just know everything, right? They
Of
want to
course.
yeah, and even with us like having surgery, they want to know all the things and be an expert over it, but it's like we're not meant to be experts. Like we're not at first, you got to learn,
Yeah.
right? And so it's just
Well,
like, give yourself grace, give yourself time. It will
yeah,
be okay. What do you see? What, because like we get in our own way, right? So like, what are like
totally.
the biggest obstacles that you see that people kind of put on themselves?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and the lot of clients that I've worked with one-on-one when we kind of talk through, obstacles and what they're struggling with, it's usually a mindset block. It's either that all or nothing thinking, or it's thinking that someone's thinking this about you, and it's almost like we have to just get out of our own way and go, you know what? I can't worry about what they think or what they're doing or what they think of how I'm lifting, whatever. And I have to just focus on what I can control and what I can do today. And what are my goals today? And just working on that. I think the mindset shifts too of just, like I said, knowing that as we change goals, we're going to need to change away from a lot of the nutrition, the post-op book that you were given. I had someone on recently that said, that book ends. There is a last page in that book. What's the next page in your book? What's the new book that you're going to move into, right? And that might be,
Oh,
a 5K or a 10K or I'm going to lift or whatever. And that means that book comes with new recommendations and ideas and strategies because you have a new focus and a new goal. So I think the mindset shift of just saying, okay, where am I at today? What am I doing? What am I trying to work towards? Being open-minded about asking for help, working with folks that, have experience in this area and can guide you and give you feedback and listen to your concerns and your obstacles and work with you and say, okay, all right, that didn't work. Let's try this. And you know what I mean? Being open-minded about just taking it one day at a time and, trying to ask for help and learn new things. I really think that is so helpful. And I know it doesn't sound flashy, but I promise you, if you have an open mind about things and just say, look, I'm trying to do something different, I promise you it'll get you forward, moving you forward to that goal.
Right? Sometimes the simplest things are what you need to do. It doesn't have to be 100% complicated all the time.
No, it does not.
Was there anything that you think that we might have missed that you'd like to talk about before we wrap things up?
Gosh, I feel like you had so many great questions. No, I feel like we covered a lot of the nutrition and the mindset and the resistance training. And I would just say to folks, think about what do you want to achieve? Who can help you get there? Don't do this alone, because you might just spin your wheels for a while and realize, damn it, I just wasted a lot of time. And, see if there's some folks that can help you in the different areas, whether that's mindset shifts, whether that's, in the gym, whether that's with your nutrition, whether that's talking to somebody that can help you with your sleep. I mean, all these things are areas that you can focus on and pick one and just see how it goes. Take it one day at a time.
I love it, guys. You heard it here. One day at a time. Let's not overcomplicate things. Let's not overthink anything. Do what you can do, what's in your control. And then I think it's great that you have said this a couple of times of just like letting your mind just let it go. Like, don't worry about what everyone else is thinking. Don't worry about what like the judgments could be. We don't know. So just do what you need to do and call it good. And until next time, guys, you got to take those vitamins. They're right here from ProCare. We love some ProCare vitamins, OSLP. And make sure you drink your water, get your protein in, and get that sleep. And lastly, don't be an asshole to one another. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on this episode of Artist Live Life podcast. Don't forget to head over to my YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and follow me on all the socials so you stay connected. And remember, until next time, keep shining bright.